For now, there is being, and this apparent separate being, me, makes so sudden waiting out of it. Waiting, is this just neurotic, or how does it come? Yeah, waiting.
What are you waiting?
What is waiting? Yeah, that's what I wanted to. Like now the energy potential for me turns, instead of being, easily and quickly into waiting.
Well, I mean, the me can't be, there is just being, but when the me is there, it might think it has to wait for something.
Yeah.
It'll never come.
Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
It's this. What is there to wait for if there is just this? But the me, because it lives in this train, going around this circle, it's always looking forward to something, so it's always waiting for something. It lives in the world of what can be, not in the world of what is. So it lives in the world of what could be, so it's waiting for something better, which will never arrive.
If there was no waiting, there would be collapsing or explosion.
Well, there is waiting or there isn't. There's frustration, there's longing, there's boredom, there's pushing it down and pretending it's not there. There's excitement, there's waiting.
Okay. Thank you.
Question: if there is only perception and no identification with an object, there's only not me, there's only perception.
Is that what's happening there? Or, as far as this is concerned, there is no perception.
If I don't think, if I'm not thinking, then there is perception.
Well, if that's what you believe.
But there's no identification with objects.
Well, what is perceiving then?
Nothing.
Well, how can nothing perceive? There is no perception. Perception is an action. There is no action. For perception to be there, it needs something to perceive. In liberation, there is nothing that perceives anything. Can I have my slip over thing? could drag it out of me, or you could give me a grape.
Isn't that beautiful?
Only I would like to correct something I just said about waiting. I want to say that also there is tremendous much aliveness, liveliness, aliveness. Oh, this, you know,
Yeah.
it's not only waiting.
No, oh no. I mean, it's never one thing anyway. It's waiting, aliveness, boredom, frustration, joy.
But there is aliveness with everything, all these different whatever.
Well, it is aliveness, yes. There is just aliveness, or being.
And this takes different colors of frustration or waiting or whatever.
And it's either an experience, it's either being experienced by something, or it just is.
It just is, or otherwise there is someone who is experiencing
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Tony, what I notice in my life is often this is not, this it is not. So you say just the opposite. This is it. So when I experience this, I think this is not.
No,
it's just an automatic answer or a program which is going on with me. Do you understand?
So yeah, but so me experiences this is not. Because me is separate from this. So what me experiences is a separate this, which and you could say that. So for the me, it seems as though this isn't it. I don't know whether that's quite where you're getting to. But for the me, this is never it, because the me is always looking forward to what will be and not seeing what is. Is that where you're getting to? Is that what you're trying to describe?
Thank you. Something arrived.
Yeah. For me, it's never arrived.
Question: this feeling of a me and this feeling of separation, is this something which is specific to human beings or to animals and plants?
No, it's uniquely human, strangely enough.
What function in us differs us from
There's
them?
no reason, I don't know.
Thinking.
It's just the way it is, it's hard luck. Don't you wish you were a blade of grass?
So it's not our capability of thinking that differs us from others.
No, there is no such thing as a human being, of course, so it's not happening to anyone, it's just energy appearing as separate in the human, what we call the human body. I think, I have a feeling it's something to do with the sophistication of the brain, and there isn't any reason for this. But the brain in the human is more sophisticated than any other brain, apparently. And what it does at a very early age, it looks out of the eyes of the body it's in and assumes that what it sees outside is separate from it. And therefore it assumes that that which is out there is somehow threatening. So it creates an artificial representative of itself called me to represent it in the world or defend it in the world. So me is based on a completely false assumption, and therefore energetically it's there just to live in a separate world which it protects the brain from. And apparently animals don't have a sophisticated brain, or brain that's sophisticated enough to bring about that artificial creation.
Would that mean that, for example, someone with a mental disease would be...
Oh, I don't know anything about, I have no answers to that. There's anything that's dysfunctional, I mean, it's very complicated, I have no idea. But, you know, the human neurology is just a bundle of different reactions and responses. It's brilliant, it's absolutely amazing what goes on in here. It's just incredible. And that covers feelings and everything, well, it covers everything that's happening. But it's just incredibly complicated. But it is a bundle of different thousands and billions of different responses all happening. But what neuroscientists have discovered is that there is no centre to that. There's no centre that it happens to. It just is happening and reacting and responding with no centre that it directs to respond in that sense. But what it also does is it does create an artificial centre which seems to then grow up and think that it's taking over and is running everything, called me. It doesn't happen. Cats and dogs and other things don't feel separate. They don't have a sense of they're incapable apparently of abstracting a sense of a separate identity. They might want to be hungry, or they might seem to react in what we would think is a human way, like they answer the name. But you don't need a separate me to answer their name or feel hungry. So everything else just is. Everything else just is. Grass, trees, tables is. And even the human physiology, is. It simply is, but within it, as I say, what seems to arise is an artificial energy which claims to have an identity and be separate.
Isn't it
every human being.
It creates its own unique world.
Yeah, that's totally. Oh yeah, there are 7.2 billion realities walking around.
It's amazing.
It is. Oh, the whole thing's
It's a wonder.
miraculous. It's just miraculous. And what I think is so beautiful about it, it's a miracle. It's just astounding. This thing is astounding. The whole thing's astounding. But what's beautiful is that it's completely meaningless. It just is. Gorgeous. It's the individual who rushes around and really worries about it. And dreams that it can change it.
Its own created world.
See?
This by itself created world.
Oh yeah, this is just this. Yeah, it's so wonderful because this just is.
Yeah.
But individuals rush around trying to make it something better. A better is.
Yeah.
This could be a better is.
But it's its own creation what it wants to change.
Yeah.
Tony, if you say it's meaningless, from which point comes this message? Because if
It comes as.
this message is it's meaning, or it's meaningless.
But there is no message.
Yeah.
There's not a message.
Yeah. There's no meaning, or there is meaning. It's the same.
Well, there is no purpose to this. It just is. There's no purpose to it because it's completely timeless. It's the infinite. And it has no message.
Yeah.
But for the seeker within that, the seeker which longs to find an answer, the what is in the nature of the energy is constantly illuminating itself. And saying there is no message, there is no answer, there is only this. So the individual who lives in what is can't see that because it's living in a what could be world. It's an artificial dream world.
But I thought the mind can think there's meaningless or there's meaning, it's the same. So what you're saying is it comes from the infinite. You are
It doesn't come from it. It is infinite, and it has no meaning in the sense that it has no message or purpose.
Yeah.
Why would it have? It's the individual that wants meaning, wants to find a meaning or a reason for being where it is.
I mean, if we talk through our minds and our thoughts, and I ask me this sentence, it's meaningless, should come from another place, or like from the mind.
Well, the mind wants meaning and there isn't any. Does that help?
Yes, it's clear.
It's the mind, it's the seeker that wants meaning and there isn't any.
What I mean is to understand that it's meaningless couldn't come from the mind.
No.
No.
Mind wants meaning.
Or not? No, okay.
perception is already doing. Is that correct?
No. Well, perception is a sort of action, yeah. Perception is, for perception to be there, it needs something to perceive. There's nothing to perceive, there is only what is.
And it sounds to me a bit that we should be able to cut down all our senses.
No, you don't have any.
Listen.
You don't have any. You don't have any to cut down.
Well, apparently I'm watching and I'm seeing things out there.
No, you're not watching. Watching is apparently happening. Seeing is apparently happening. It's another appearance. We're back to this thing of appearance. There's nothing that's real and there's nothing that's unreal. There is only what is. And it doesn't need anything for it to be. It doesn't need to be seen or observed. It just is. You can't, I mean honestly, forget it. You can't get anywhere with this because we're talking in two realities. One is that there is a doing, or there is a, and the other one is there's only this. The other one is awful. Well, it's not awful. It's absolutely beautiful, and that is that there's nothing happening. There's no thing. This is no thing happening.
My system is saying now, well, perception just happens.
Well, perception is something that seems to be happening in the no thing, but actually it's no thing appearing then to be a perception.
Okay.
I mean, this message is not some new message that's arrived. This communication has always been going on. Mysticism and the mystics have always talked in this way, more hidden than the teaching side of seeking. The teaching side of seeking is obviously back in the dream. But underneath all of that, in the scriptures, in the Gospels, what we're talking about here has always been pointed towards. It can't be explained. It's impossible to explain it because it's unknowable. But it's underlying all of the scriptures, all of the communications that have been going on since the beginning of apparent time. And it can't be explained. There's no way that this can be explained. It simply is. And all the time there's something you're looking for, it's never going to find it. But the strange thing is that when suddenly the looking ceases to be there, there's suddenly an exclamation, ah! Ah! But that's about as far as you can get with it. You can't, people phone me up and say, ah! They try to describe it, but you can instinctively know when somebody can't, when you can instinctively know when somebody's actually saying, ah! Not when somebody gives you a description and this is really what's happened to me, you know that they haven't got it at all. Because they're able to know it. This is unknowable. It's absolute unknown. So don't try and do anything with this. You don't need to do anything with this. You don't need to do anything with it at all. Just sort of get the sense in some way or other that whatever you do, when you get up and walk out of this room, this isn't in this meeting. It's not owned here. It's everywhere. Where you walk out of this room and go downstairs and go home, it's there. It's there. It's shouting at you. It's singing to you constantly. Thank you. Really? Oh.
yesterday.
Tell me something else. When you put it on there, can it only be on there for during the time?
Data storage capacity. That's why the government can now record all everything you
when you talk about putting it into your website, I mean, forget it, it's so expensive to do it.
Yeah.
So when I think about you putting all that
It's cool that you're now.
well,
it's making